Hello everyone, it is Misterstubstep and I'm back again with another one of these kind of price analysis videos on some modern sets. So today we'll be going over the Rebel Clash sold prices and just the market price in general for these cards. So this video is, these prices are as of December 11th, 2020. So obviously a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, this video will be extremely out of date. So at that point, it'll probably just be kind of like a time capsule on what the prices looked like back then. So for those of you that haven't seen the first video in this series, which is Sword and Shield base, I go into a lot of detail on like how I go about this process, but I was looking to make this video a little bit more concise and to the point, so you guys can pretty much get to the information that you need and then go from there. I ultimately do these videos to save you guys, you know, an hour or two of research on your own, or I just have it laid out nicely in this spreadsheet. You guys can, you know, I have it linked down below. So if you don't even want to watch this video and you just want to look at the spreadsheet really quick, then please just leave a like or a comment on what set you'd like to see next, and then you can just go from there, copy and paste it to your own thing, and you know, update it or sort it however you like. But to start off, I'll be going over pretty much from any cards that are worth over $1 all the way to the top, the most valuable cards in the set, based on the marketplace on TCGPlayer. And for those of you that don't know, that's basically the recommended sold price, or like the average sold price of cards, you know, that are passing through TCGPlayer. And that's only according to TCGPlayer. You know, it doesn't include, you know, eBay or, you know, Troll and Toad or other bigger sites. But in general, enough cards pass through there that it gives you a pretty good idea on what your card is worth raw and near mint to mint condition. So starting off, you know, we have some holo rares. Generally, the holo rares that are up here are some that are decently playable. Of course, you have some uncommons, which are uncommon to find in a list like this, but Scoop Up Net is just a staple index. You have some more holo rares, and then you have the first ultra rare, which is Double V. So that's always a spot that, you know, is not coveted for a card, because basically you're the weakest ultra rare as far as value goes. If you're wondering why all of these are $1, if it's in between $1 and $2, I just rounded down. So all of the for all of the prices on TCGPlayer, I just rounded down to the nearest dollar. So yeah, Capture Energy, another, you know, uncommon card, but that's quite playable. All these V cards worth $1, and then right when we get to Rillaboom V, one of the starters, we get into $2. So that's pretty awesome. Milotic V, a fan favorite. Eldegoss V used to be like really up there. Well, not really up there, but decently priced. But Eldegoss and Eldegoss V, like the versions of those cards have been printed so many times now that it's not as valuable. Ninetales V, another original. Dragapult V. Malamar VMAX is the lowest VMAX at $2. I mean, Malamar is just not that likable. Upside down squid, whatever, it's not that likable. And then you have the first full art, which is Copperaja V, $3. Sandaconda double, Boss's Orders holo rare, once again an extreme staple in the deck, as far as, you know, standard format and like the cards nowadays go, actually I'm not sure where I was going with that. Malamar V full art, Milo full art, definitely a forgettable gym leader. Copperaja VMAX. Then we start getting into more full arts all here. Cinderace V, Oleana, Phalanx, Toxtricity, Rillaboom V. So you can see the starters are pretty good. And at the end, I will go over kind of a summary on what I would predict for the future. I mean, this is all my opinion and just conjecture. All I can really do here is present you guys the up-to-date facts on sold stuff. But from there, I mean, you guys can pretty much determine on what you think would be best moving forward. You have the first secret rare with Tool Scrapper. Bolton V is actually the highest price, just regular V card, which is pretty interesting. I assume that means it's fairly playable. Got a big charm. Toxtricity VMAX, definitely a good looking card. Got the Milo secret rare, $8. That's pretty low for a secret rare trainer, but it just shows to how much or how unpopular he is, or unplayable, or a combination of the two. Got Twin Energy, Dragapult VMAX. Going into more secret rares, ultra rares. Look at that. We're now in double digits. So Oleana. Oh, Dragapult V full art. They're the ones that are breaking us into the double digits. Let's see, we got Milotic V Full Art, which is a very beautiful card. I think that's definitely an underappreciated card in this set. Sonia, beautiful card. A lot of people like her as, a female in the series. Usually the female full art trainers do pretty well. Excuse me, if they're a character that people enjoy to look at. For example, Oleana, she was kind of evil on the storyline, like kind of one of the bad guys, and not super popular. All of her Pokemon were poison, and her main Pokemon was a pile of trash. So, not one of the more desired females in the game or the series. And then you have Toxtricity VMAX. Sorry, there might be some misspellings and stuff in here. It's, I make these spreadsheets fairly quickly, so yeah, I try to revise them as much as I can, and then you pretty much have all the secret rares lined out. Prices start jumping up. You got $21, $23, $25, $28, and we finish up with the Frostmoth. So the two gold Pokemon in this set, the Galarian Berserker, which Mystery actually pulled one of those, and then the Frostmoth, they're actually in the top 3 for most valuable cards, raw, basically ungraded. And I think that's very interesting because Boss's Orders used to be up there as number 1, but I think everybody that needed Boss's Orders pretty much has Boss's Orders at this point. And the people that are still getting Boss's Orders, they probably don't care whether or not it's a full art or a secret rare. And I think all the people that really wanted the full art or secret rare version of it have gotten it already, but that's just my opinion. But overall, nothing too high. I mean, when the highest price is $31 compared to Sword and Shield base that we went over, I think the highest price one was like $50-something. So it's not. Definitely, people say that Rebel Clash is a weaker set on the collector side, but it does have a lot more playable cards, which a testament to that is, as you can see, this goes all the way down to row 66. And Sword and Shield base set only went down to row 59. So to me, that tells me only 58 cards are worth more than $1 in Sword and Shield, but 65 in Rebel Clash are worth more than $1. So to me, that says there might be more playable cards in this set, which that is the case. All right, so now that we've gone through the boring stuff, I should have mentioned at the beginning, I will have timestamps for all like the sections. So if you don't care about the raw stuff, I'll usually have a timestamp that steps straight to the PSA stuff, which is where the majority of the research comes from. Because I mean, these raw prices, you can go to TCGPlayer.com right now on your phone, computer, go to the top left, go to Pokemon, go down to the bottom, click on, what do you call it? Price something. I forget what it's called. The price something. And then basically you select which set, and then you can sort it by the like lowest to highest, however you want to do it. So now the good part. We've already went over the raw, the grade. Once again, I always try to find the PSA 10, and if I can't find a PSA 10, then I go down from there, or I try to find an equivalent in another grading service, whether it be CGC, BGS, GMA, whatever. If there's no recent listings, then I leave it blank, and then if there are sales that our best offer was accepted, I mean, there's no way I can know what was actually sold for, and I mean, I could speculate, but I'll just present, once again, I'm just presenting the facts here, and you guys can form your own opinions, and I will give you some of my opinions. Not that my opinion is from a position of authority or, expertise, but, just another opinion. And if we share that opinion, then who knows, we might be onto something. So, once again, grade, sold price, I'm literally going off of the most recent sold price of this card at PSA 10. Like, that's what I start with, and then I go from there. So once again, if it's been sold recently, then it's a card that's still passing fairly frequently. But if last time it was sold was October, then it's probably not a card that people are wanting to buy, or everybody's cards are still at PSA, like mine are. And then date of sale, self-explanatory. This is as of 11 December. And then you can see the breakdown just based on like the cost of PSA, time, all that stuff. To me, anything that doesn't give you more than $50, I don't even think it's worth sending to PSA, but I'm just an average guy. You have those massive, businesses that are sending off hundreds of cards every single week, then being able to sell them for $30, you do get a profit. But in my case, when you pay $10, $15, $20 for shipping, and you wait all that time, like, it needs to be at least worth over $50 for me to even consider sending it to PSA. And then 100, most definitely, great pull. And then green is like, yeah, you pulled one of the best cards in the set. And it needs to be sent right away unless it's just completely beat up. All right, so, yeah, Glare and Wheezing, there's nothing. Dragapult, so a PSA 10 was sold for $40. I'm assuming that there's probably somebody out there that wants, a master set of Dragapult and PSA 10, which, honestly, it's one of the more popular Pokemon that have come out in Generation 8. Also, I just want to say that a lot of this video is just going to be discussion, so if there's anything that you notice or trends or anything like that, or, if I say something that you're like, oh, or you disagree with or agree with, like, please feel free to create discussion in the comments. So, yeah, Dragapult, one of the more popular Pokemon of this generation, I would agree. It's kind of the dragon, not quite legendary, the pseudo-legendary Pokemon of this generation, and it's fairly popular. I think the one thing that plagues it is there are a lot of cards of it. Like, there's been a lot of different prints of the card. So yeah, once again, these holo rares uncommons, no PSA sold listings at least. I didn't look to see if there were any listed, but I don't care about those. I only care about what's sold because that means somebody actually bought it. And once again, I cannot confirm whether or not they actually paid for it. But at that, like, if we get down to that, then, at some point, you're going to have to assume something, Double V, I can only find a GMA 10 sold for $30, so take that, how you want to take it. Got Pincurchin V, Sandaconda V, just at a PSA 9, $10 and $11. Oof. I just feel like the V cards in general might be a little bit harder to grade because with those, like, they look good with the black borders, but it's really obvious when they get whitening, and I feel like whitening is very common on them. That's just something that I've observed. If you guys have some perfect V cards, then I'm just jealous because all of mine, I don't think any of them would get a 10. Sorry about that. Nothing too crazy noticeable here. I mean, Cinderace V at 40, Rillaboom V at 40, and Inteleon V at 40, and Ninetales and Dragapult at 40. So, I mean, those are all pretty solid V cards, and I honestly, if you really thought and had to guess at which, Pokemon / cards in this set would be popular, you would probably guess those. Got Copraja V Full Art at the first one at $50 or more, which, I mean, it's a pretty cool card. I mean, I personally think Copraja V is a really cool Pokemon, but I don't know, in the long run, I just don't really see it. It is the featured Pokemon of, like, the main dude, I think Peony in the DLC, the most recent DLC for Sword and Shield, which is kind of neat, I guess. Sandaconda V, the first one that had one sold listed at, $40, but it was best offer, and best offer accepted, and it was a PSA 10, so take that with what you will. Double V Full Art actually sold for $57, and I did not highlight that on red, which is my mistake. I'll definitely adjust that, but I thought that was interesting. Boss's Orders PSA 10 actually sold for $29, so that's just a holo rare. You can pull a bunch of those if you're lucky. Malamar V Full Art 2 in English sold, best offer listed at $40, PSA 10. I think there's been a bunch of Japanese ones sold, but yeah, not in English that actually stated what they pay or they were supposed to pay for it. Got Milo Full Art as $50. So yeah, the trainer cards are kind of tricky because, the attractive females, it's really easy to, or like the really well-known characters from Generation 1 or 2 or whatever. Those are, like, that's a good rule of thumb to, invest in those cards. But Milo is just kind of, I guess if you wanted all the new gym leaders, you could, but I mean, he's just kind of a bulky, farmer dude. I don't know. I just don't see him doing well. Moving down to Phalanx V. A lot of people like this Pokemon. It's kind of cute. It's like a bunch of little ball warriors lined up. It's a very interesting concept for a Pokemon. Rillaboom V Full Art at $80. So Rillaboom, it's kind of a toss-up between Rillaboom and Cinderace, which one's the more popular starter. I personally think it's Rillaboom, and I'm not just saying that because that's the one that I chose, but definitely any of the starters are, I would say, solid because Rebel Clash is like the first set where they had their own, actually, yeah, they're like the first set where they had their own VMAXs and V cards and all that stuff. So it's the first set for them, which I think is important to note. You got the Cinderace VMAX for $70, Inteleon V Full Art for $70, Rillaboom VMAX for $100. I saw that, I was very surprised. I will admit the Rillaboom VMAX card Does look really good, though. It looks really cool if you're a fan of that musical gorilla. Tool Scrapper, not the most popular card. Two sold at best offer, listed at $50, PSA 10. Then we have, some more sold over 50. Toxtricity VMAX at $50. I was surprised it wasn't a little bit higher because I personally think it's a really cool looking card. We got the Milo Secret Rare. So this one I wish I could get an actual recent sold listing, because I think eBay only goes back, 60 days, or I'm not sure what the actual date limit is, but there's one sold, but it was best offer and it was listed at $89.99 and it was a PSA 10. So I'm assuming it would do pretty well because it is a rainbow rare trainer, but who knows. And Teleon VMAX only sold for $45, but that was recent. Twin Energy Dragapult VMAX $50. Oleana, her secret rare, $73. Once again, I already had my spiel on Oleana, but secret rare trainer cards, because some people do prefer the color of the full art, which I think in some cases it is better. So once again, it's really up to what you're collecting or what you want to collect. Once again, Copperajah VMAX, should have highlighted that one red as well, since it did sell for $55. Got Milotic V full art and Ninetales V full art, 83 and 90. So these are two that I kind of wanted to talk about. Amongst the starters, I think these two are kind of sleepers in this set, in the long run, because they are beautiful cards. More than likely, some of the cards that I really have an emphasis on, I'll try to show photos of them just to help you guys get a little better of a visual, because while Excel sheets are beautiful, it's nice to have a card to a name as well. But I think both of these cards have potential. Now, once again, this is just one random dude's thoughts, but Milotic V, Ninetales V, Milotic V's 3rd gen and Ninetales is 1st generation, and I just think they have potential in the future, and they're nice looking cards, and they were kind of just randomly thrown in, which is nice. Then you have the Sonia full art, the first one over 100. Actually, besides that Rillaboom VMAX. Sonia full art, I actually do have this card. I'm looking to submit it. I doubt it'll get a 10, but yeah, at $120, that's not bad. And interestingly enough, the Sonia Secret Rare only sold for $113. So this is one of those rare cases, which it does happen, but the regular full art sells more than the Secret Rare or the Rainbow Rare. And the Secret Rare Rainbow Rare, you get 1 in 36, 72 packs, depending on how lucky you are. And then, full art, you might get 1 or 2 in 36 packs. But sometimes you won't even get a Secret Rare in a booster box, and you'll get 2 full arts or something, or 2 VMAXs or 3 VMAXs or something. So it's just kind of wild that even though the card is twice as rare, you can still have the better looking one, or I guess in people's opinions, the more collectible one sell for more. The Toxtricity VMAX at $160. That one to me was kind of surprising, but at the same time, I do think it's a really good looking card. I wish its regular VMAX got more credit, but I think because it is kind of overprinted, and then you have Shiny Star V and Shining Fates. Yeah, Shining Fates coming up, which is going to be reprinting it again. That makes the rainbow one a little bit more, I guess, unique. But I think that's another card that I think is kind of a sleeper in this set. And it's just a really interesting Pokemon in general, just kind of electric poison, unique typing. And then it's one of the musical Pokemon as well, which is kind of cool. Scoop Up Net, a staple, but it is one of the lowest up here. So probably wouldn't recommend grading, but it's definitely a card that you can sell very quickly. Cinderace VMAX at $150, so definitely solid. I already talked about Sonia. Rillaboom at $130. A little surprised. I thought that'd be a little bit higher, but whatever. Dragapult at $100 and Teleon at $130. The Boss's Orders full art at $140. So, probably the most playable card in this set. One of the most purchased and desired cards probably in this set. So $140 doesn't really surprise me. And then it's Secret Rare at $150. These two cards used to reign supreme in this, but they've, I wouldn't call second and fourth place falling off, at least on the raw side, but yeah, they're definitely not as dominant as they used to be. We got Frostmoth at $160, which I think is a beautiful card. I wish I pulled it over the Galarian Berserker, because Frostmoth, and Ice Moth, it's just kind of an interesting Pokemon. And you can actually play it too. It's not the best card, but it's not a bad card either. And then Galarian Berserker. I was actually really surprised that Galarian Berserker took home the gold, and it is a gold card, but took home the gold for this set overall. So it makes me even more excited to submit it to PSA because, I don't know, it's based off of Meowth, which is one of the original Pokemon. It's like the Metal Galarian variant of it. But in my opinion, it's just like, bleh. I don't know. I mean, I'll be showing the picture of this card as well. You guys can determine from there. It is a cool looking card, but the Pokemon in general is just kind of eh. And then at the bottom, so we have the average PSA 10 price for Rebel Clash. So $36 for V, $63 for the full art. VMAX is $49, and then Secret Rare, which includes all the Secret Rare, VMAX, trainers, items, all that stuff, and Pokemon as $108. So you can move right over and compare that with Sword and Shield base. So the V cards are a little bit less, the full arts are a little bit less, the VMAXs are considerably less than Sword and Shield base at a PSA 10 average. But the Secret Rares actually beaten out Sword and Shield base, so it's pretty interesting. And then one other little tidbit that I looked up because I was just curious. I was trying to find if any complete sets had been sold, and there was a bunch of like almost complete sets or partial sets sold, but there's no way to like truly calculate that. But there was one master set sold for $325. Oh, another thing I should mention, all these PSA sold prices, I round up to the nearest dollar, but I don't include shipping. But because you're willing to pay for that shipping usually, then that's why I round it up. Sorry if that makes things confusing, but that's how I do the PSA prices. Like if it's sold for $39.99 plus shipping, I say that it sold for $40 on this Excel document. But yeah, the master set sold for $325. So I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of work to get a master set of this because that's all the reverse hollows and everything too of every single card. But yeah, definitely let me know if you guys have any feedback, any opinions. I think the starters will do really well in the long run because this is their first set of getting, you know, ultra rare, secret rare cards. I think gold Pokemon cards in general will do extremely well because it's a very unique, you know, take on them. And I personally think the gold cards in Sword and Shield just look beautiful. And then the Milotic V and Ninetales V full arts. I think the full arts and the gold cards, they are definitely a little bit easier to grade than, you know, some of the Vs and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think a lot of them are beautiful, and like the color schemes that, you know, the Sword and Shield series of sets has done have been quite nice. But overall, I think those are probably the best cards in the long run. Starters, I want to throw Toxtricity in there too, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Starters, Toxtricity, maybe even Dragapult. And then, you know, of course, you have the regular trainers, which Boss's Orders is kind of a rare one because, you know, it's a male, but, you know, and then Sonia will always hold it down. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any feedback or whatever set you want to see next, or, you know, comment any discussions or stuff that you see below. All right, thank you.